Hello, I'm DeAndrea Matthews, and I'm about to get started with a couch chat with Ashley Stanley, and you get to see it firsthand. We're going to be getting started in just a moment. I'm just waiting on her to let me into the Zoom room for our virtual meetup. So thanks for joining. Hello there. How are, oops.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So excited to chat today.
Yes.
So super quick, I know you got the email, but just kind of wanted to walk through the questions again, kind of what we'll chat about. So we'll jump in and I'll do a quick little introduction, and then I'll just ask you to do a quick overview of what it is you do, how you got started, all that kind of fun stuff.
All right.
And then we'll jump into some common myths or misconceptions that you experience when you're working with clients. I know, there's a lot of times people will be like, this is what this is, and then you're like, actually, it's not. So
yes.
Love to clear that stuff up. And then I love to talk action items. So things that people can do, a lot of times we talk more like prep before they get to you kind of action items.
Okay.
Those kinds of things where it's like, okay, you want to work with me, you want to work with somebody like me, here's some things that you can do to prepare yourself for that.
Good.
Yeah, and then we just kind of jump into something you wish that you knew when you started.
Yeah.
A little tidbit that you wish, a mentor or somebody would have shared with you. And then we just kind of chat about where to find you online. And in all of these questions, feel free to elaborate as much as you want or as little as you want.
Okay,
feel
sounds
free to
good.
Kind of the base flow of everything.
Okay, so find that happy medium.
Yes.
Good.
Alrighty. My internet has been a little bit slow the past couple of days, so it's like taking a second to connect.
Of course.
Wanting to connect, but I think we got it now.
All right.
Alright, friends, we are back again with another, let me make sure we're there, we are there with another couch chat. I'm super, super excited. We are chatting with Miss DeAndrea Matthews today, and I say it every time, but guys, I love couch chats. I think they're super fun. I've been having a great time connecting with some amazing business women and learning from them. And it's just been an absolute joy to be able to have them, you know, share their expertise and share some things about what they do. So I'm going to hand it off so that she can give an intro about herself and, you know, kind of what she does, how she got there, all the fun things.
Well, hello everyone. My name is DeAndrea Matthews. I am an international speaker, author, and an educator. So I am currently the founder and CEO of Aldin Publications. That is an award-winning hybrid publishing company that is a member of the Independent Book Publishers Association and is also Better Business Bureau accredited. So that's an important part of who we are because, you know, one of the things that I'll share is, you know, being connected to a professional organization to make sure that you're staying on top of industry standards, things of that nature is so important, especially in a fluid industry like publishing where things can change, you know, in an instant. So that's a little bit about me. And, you know, as far as being an author, I am the author of 6 books, 5 book chapters, and 2 academic journal articles.
That's amazing. I love that. And I love what you said about being, you know, connected in networks or associations. I completely agree. My history is in web development, and it was kind of the same thing, like being connected and being able to kind of stay up to date in, like you said, very fluid industries that are changing quite a bit. You know, it's great to have a network of business women in general, but I think having a network of people who are working in your same field is also
absolutely. You learn so much from each other.
Yes, exactly. So I am right there with you.
Good.
Cool. So can you tell me, you know, I love to break down myths and misconceptions. So can you tell me some maybe myths or misconceptions that you run into when you're working with clients who, you know, maybe are first-time authors or, you know, are coming at this for the first time, that are brand new to this game?
Very good question. So I work a lot with first-time authors, and one of the biggest myths is that, you know, when I hand my manuscript off to you, you handle everything. And while a lot of publishers do take on, again, the majority of the work that needs to be done to take your manuscript, you know, through the editing process, design process, and ultimately have this finished product that's available through, you know, multiple distribution options. But there is a role and responsibility that the author has. And a part of that, whether it's traditional publishing, whether it's self-publishing, or whether it's a hybrid model, the author is still responsible for getting the word out there about who they are, what they're doing, and what their book is about. So a lot of traditional publishers, they want you to have a certain number of people as far as your social media following. You know, they won't even talk to you if you don't have this minimum number. So the author has to recognize that regardless of the publishing model that you use to get your work out there, you still want to talk about who you are, why you're writing about what you're writing, and what your book is about. So that's what I refer to as the know, like, trust factor. So people need to know who you are. They need to hear enough about you to really understand, you know, if they found their tribe or not, so they know if they like you. And then ultimately, do they trust you enough to buy your product, buy your service, work with you directly? So that's the know, like, trust factor.
Yeah, I think that's so great. And honestly, author or not, you know, I think making sure that people know who you are before you even try to sell to them is so important. You know, making sure that you know, you can't just jump out there and be like, hey, I have this new thing. Everybody's like, who are you?
Exactly.
Okay, that's great, but like, what do you do?
Yes. And a good way to check that is to, you know, just on your personal social media page, ask the question and let people respond to it. What is it that you think that I do? It will probably amaze you, the responses that you get from people, because, you know, if you're not really talking about yourself and what you do or sharing your wins and things of that nature, whether it's on a personal page or a business page, people aren't going to know who you are, which means that you're missing out on some potential referrals.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so great. I love that. I've never heard somebody recommend asking that question, but as you said it, my brain was like, obviously, like, that makes sense.
Yes, and just see what people say.
Like, I should do this today.
Yes.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So like you said, you work a lot with first-time authors, people
Yes.
who are, you know, saying, all right, I have this idea, I want to create this book or create this, you know, and so they have this idea and they start maybe, you know, writing some stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know, kind of are getting ideas together. What are some, you know, action items that you could give somebody before they even come to you, before they even start the process? What are some things that they could, you know, take even today and just start start doing the work so that when they come to you, they are prepared and you're not starting from, you know, I know for me, I've worked with clients before where I'm like, I can't even start working with you because you're everywhere,
Yeah.
you know. And so what are those things for you that maybe could help, that people could do to prepare themselves for even before they come and contact you?
Well, one of the things that people can do, particularly if you're coming to me for publishing your book, because there are really three distinct processes. There's the writing of the book, there's the publishing of the book, and then there's the selling of the book. So if we're looking at the publishing part of it, before you bring your manuscript to publish, you might want to ask yourself, what's your why? You need to know what that why is, because too often, first time authors in particular come with unrealistic expectations. They think that they're automatically going to make the Amazon bestseller list, and they think that they're going to sell 10,000 copies, and they don't have to do any work. So asking your why and really what's the goal, that helps to narrow down what the focus is going to be. If your goal is to become, again, have $1 million revenue based on your books, that's not going to happen overnight. That's more of a long-term strategy that we can build, but again, setting realistic goals. Another thing that you can do is in understanding your why. Are you writing this book because you just have this information that you want to share with the world? Are you trying to leave a written legacy for your family? All of those responses to the why will let me know which direction really to take the project in, and if you really want to develop multiple streams of income from one piece of intellectual property, or if you really just want to get this out and again have some copies for a family event or something like that, more of a custom project. So that's really helpful when it comes to publishing. Now if you're looking at the writing process, that's a little bit different, because the process that I have in place can really take someone from blank page all the way to published author. So if you're coming with just, some ideas like I want to write a book and I really don't know where to start, that's really a blank slate that we can work with, because we can start with a brainstorming session. We can do some, brain dumps and mind maps and, bring that into the outline and then just move on from there as a part of that creative process. So really, it depends on where you are in the process, the type of assistance that someone like me can provide, and then we'll be able to go from there.
I love that. That's so cool. I love that you have a framework for, both sides, because I think, I think there are people obviously on both sides.
Yes, definitely.
Clearly. But I know for me, like I've thought about that before, and I've said, okay, I have this idea, but like I wouldn't even know where the heck to start. And so
Yes.
it's cool to know, that you have that for people like me that are like, I got nothing.
Yes, yes.
I do. I have information, but like I don't even know where or how to start putting pen to paper and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So that's super cool, and I think super, super helpful.
That's a part of the reason why I got into this work in publishing, because when I became an author in 2012, just because of my personality, I dug in deep. I did all the research. I read books. I read, journal articles and all types of things to get the information that I needed. But I also recognized that not everyone who wants to publish a book has the network or has the resources that I did. So I wanted to set up that process so that, again, if you're coming with this blank slate and you really don't have a clue where to start or what to do, we have a process in place to be able to help you.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love that, I think in any business, as any business owner, creating an idea that's saying, I know how to do this and I know a lot of people don't. Like that really should be where kind of all of our offerings come from, right?
Yes.
And so to be able to see that need and say, yep, I'm going to jump in there. I've done this. I know how to do it. Like you said, I have the resources and I have the network that somebody else may not have. How can I help them,
Definitely.
Almost gain access to it, or, receive that information that they otherwise may not be able to to access, I think is great. I love it.
Thank you.
On, kind of a flipping away from specifically writing and publishing, just being a business owner,
yes,
right? Like, what is something, can you remind me again, how long have you been in business?
So I have been a publisher since 2017. So just 3 short years. We just celebrated our anniversary.
That's so exciting. So 3 years in,
yes,
right? 3 years to this side of it. What are some things, I'm sure that you've run into many hurdles, obstacles, had your fair share of
yes,
crazy experiences,
yes,
as any seasoned business owner has experienced. What's maybe 1 or 2 hurdles or obstacles that in hindsight are things that you could say, somebody could have shared information with me so that maybe that wasn't as difficult, or maybe that wasn't, I'm sure it still would have been difficult. It's always going to have, difficult, but what, things that, I know for me, there's things I experienced and I'm like, dang, if somebody would have just given me a heads up or would have, said some things. So what are those, if you have 1 or maybe 2 things?
For me, I believe it would be more so dealing with the sales process, because even though it's a service that I offer, you still have to be able to ask for the money. You still have to be able to close the sale. You still have to be able to document your processes. So for me, because publishing a book obviously can be a lengthy process, and when I say lengthy, it could be anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, depending on, again, the details of the project, how long the manuscript is, lots of different reasons. So for me, it was recognizing how to document not just the steps of the process, but how many hours have you put in with emails, with cold calls, with servicing that particular client, whether it is via email, via phone, in-person meetings, and things of that nature. Documenting all of those hours so at the end of the day, you really know the total investment that you've put into it. It's not just about, again, the service hours of the formatting and typesetting and things of that nature, but the additional hours that you want to be able to calculate as a part of your business process.
Oh, I love that. I think, especially as service providers, being able to have a really strong handle on that,
yes,
is huge. I know, like I said, so obviously I've pivoted and I work with business women who are launching businesses now, but coming out of the gate when I was a web developer, and funnily enough, my stepdad is also a web developer, and he worked freelance for a long time. And we used to have these conversations where we would say, okay, but like, I don't know how long things are going to take, and I need to figure it out. And then constantly being stressed about the ask, right? The money ask, where you're saying, okay, I know my time, effort, energy is worth this.
Definitely.
I would know in my head, but I think being really aware, because I myself at the very beginning, I would say, that's only going to take me like 2 hours, so I can charge them this. Then it would take me 10.
Yeah.
Like, I charge so low. And so I think coming out of the gate, I think you are always going to, you're going to have to be willing to be fluid and flexible at the very beginning, because you are learning that.
Definitely.
But having that handle and saying, I'm going to make sure that I put processes in place that allow me to track this stuff, so that I can get better and I can grow, and my prices can be more reflective of what I'm doing. The process can be more nailed down and not take a million years.
Yes. And if I had to add anything to that, the second thing would be charging your worth. Understanding what you offer, and it's not just the process or the service itself, but it's all the years of experience that you have coming into this. Whether you have a degree in that area, and the investment you made in the degree to learn everything, all of that ties into your worth and what you should be charging, and being comfortable with charging your worth.
I completely agree. I don't know if you've seen, there's like a tweet or a meme or something that's been going around that basically says like, even if it only takes me 10 minutes, you need me for the 10 years it took me to figure out how to do it in
That's
10
right.
minutes.
That's exactly
and
right.
I heard that and I was like,
ding, 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 ding.
I was like, I love that. I want to like plaster it all over my office. Like that is, because I think that is, you're right, charging your worth. It's not just, minutes. It's not just minutes. It's the time that you've taken to learn it. It's the time that you know, invested in all these other areas and the money that you've invested in those areas so that you can learn it. And so
That's right.
It's so much more than just, okay, it took me 20 minutes and this is how much, you know,
Right.
charge.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, well, it has been so fun chatting with you. Oh, you're great. You're so fun and bubbly and bright, and I love it.
Thank you.
For anybody who's looking to connect with you, looking to maybe learn more about writing a book or publishing a book, where do you hang out online? Where can they find you? Where can they connect?
Okay, so anyone who wants to connect with me personally, you can follow me at Dr. DC Matthews. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I also encourage you to follow the Claire Aldin Publications YouTube page. That's where I post a lot of educational information and resources about the process. Just again, learning different things as you're going through the process of writing a book and questions you might have about the publishing process. So if you want to follow my publishing company, that's at Claire Aldin on Instagram, Twitter, and all your social media, and that's ClaireAldin at Claire Aldin.
Yay, awesome. And I will, for anyone who's watching this later, we'll put those links in the comments below.
Excellent.
So you guys can find all of that. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you, that's been fun.
On the couch. Obviously can't really see that.
Yes.
But it's been a real pleasure chatting with you. Thank you.
Same over here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, the chat is over, and I hope that you have enjoyed learning a little bit more about me as the founder and CEO of Claire Aldin Publications. Again, this is Dr. DeAndrea Matthews, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.